In the kingdom of mobile, social media is key, and in Asia, social is everywhere. It's embedded in people's lives every single day, sometimes in very interesting ways, sometimes in quite bizarre ways. After all, we are in a region with some of the world's least and most socially enabled nations. Take Indonesia, which is number 4 on Facebook's list of top countries. And then you've got Myanmar, where only 1% of the population is actually online as we speak today. So while the rest of the world gorges on Facebook and Twitter, in Asia there's a subculture of their own local networks. Now don't get me wrong, Facebook and Twitter are still massive in this region. After all, even Yahoo is still big in Japan. But for every Silicon Valley, there's a Silicon Dragon, a local equivalent often doing it faster, quicker and smarter than the big Silicon Valley players. Take Baidu, for example, often quoted as the Google of China. Last month it had over 500 million searches, making it the 4th largest search engine in the world. Not bad considering it only really works in China. And then you have Weibo, the Twitter of China, which has over double the number of users and followers than that of Twitter itself. The easy answer is to say these are just copies of the Western Silicon Valley players. Actually, it's far more complex than that, and there's far more innovation happening than first meets the eye. So let's talk about some of the real innovations with Line, QQ, and WeChat, some of the oldest and newest juggernauts in the social scene, and underpinning many people's social lives every single day here in Asia. The leader in this pack is Line, coming out of Japan. In the first 18 months, it gained from 0 to 100 million users. 6 months later, it had 200 million, and now it's over 500 million. Not bad, considering that most people in the West have never actually experienced the platform itself. Interestingly, Western brands are now adapting it. So, Wendy's, Wall Street Journal, and now FC Barcelona all have platforms on it. FC Barcelona recently announced it had 10 million unique users using Line. Not bad for a platform that most people haven't heard of. And so why has Line been so successful, both from a user perspective and a brand perspective? Well, they've mastered the art of visual sociability, using animations and pictures instead of just characters and text, something that the Western counterparts are now rapidly trying to adopt themselves. And then there's WeChat, literally meaning micro chats in Chinese. It was inspired originally by WhatsApp and by Line, but it's rapidly become something much more, with over 500 million users. In effect, they've added Instagram, Facebook, video messaging, e-commerce, all onto one platform. It's kind of almost like the entire internet in your pocket. And the final example is our friends at QQ, kind of the granddaddy of social media in Asia. Started way back in 1999, around about the same time as Google. Bizarrely, it was an instant messaging service, basically using penguins as the main communicator. I kid you not. What's interesting, it shows that old dogs can learn new tricks. And they recently launched a thing called QCoin, which is the equivalent of Bitcoin, aimed to become the virtual currency in China. What's most impressive about these players is that they're not relying on advertising. And this may be the real reason why they win the long game, globally as well as locally. So unlike with Facebook, where we reluctantly stroll past those suggested posts, these players don't have that problem. Why? Because they've mastered the idea of micropayments. Think Candy Crush for gaming, social, stickers, pretty much everything. So to summarize, first, don't presume that your global social strategy will work locally. It probably won't, because you need to look at different players. Secondly, be inventive about the way you generate ROI. Think e-commerce or m-commerce, rather than just purely advertising dollars. And finally, go out and play. It's very difficult to have an opinion and view on a Line or WeChat or Weibo if you haven't used it yourself.